Hey guys, it's Shayna from the Mom Edit, and we are here today because Levi's has lost their mind. Back in the day, not in the day, back a few years ago, it used to be like Levi 501s and wedgies, and then like Ribcage went through this like whole sort of like, were Ribcage jeans with like flares and mom bottoms and straight leg and skinnies. They did a whole thing. But whatever, I actually don't care about any of that today because what I want to talk about now are all of the new Levi's that are out there. There are like not just 501s anymore. There's like 501 90s style. There's like a whole iteration of baggy Levi's. So there's Baggy Bootcut. There's Baggy Dad's women's jeans. And then instead of Ribcage, they went into like the sort of 70s high-rise flare. Anyway, there's a lot of Levi's out there, and I just need to figure out which ones are good and the sizing, which, as you know, Levi's sizing is always a little bit tricky. So let's get into it. Let's start with Levi 501 Original. So here's the thing. This is my true size. I'm a size 27, and that is what I put on my body. So they look good. But these are really tight jeans, guys. I don't like to wear my jeans this tight. So you have two options. With the Levi 501 Original, you have two options. Either you wear your true size and you just wait for them to break in, or Julieta has a whole article that we can link to where you submerge yourself in a bathtub and then emerge and let them dry to your body, and they will look freaking amazing, or you just buy one size up. If you decide to sort of like wait it out, which I have done, if you decide to sort of wait it out, this is what your Levi's could look like after like many years. These are my old pair of Levi 501s, same size. They've just been around now for years and years and years, and you know, they're perfectly broken in. So, two options: size up, wait years and years and years, or jump back. Okay, so these are the 501 90s jeans. Immediately you'll notice that the waist is a teeny bit lower. It still sort of strikes me, so here's my belly button. The waist is a little more low rise. They're way roomier through the thighs, and they almost sort of have like a bootcut-esque vibe. They're very straight leg, but they're a little bit wider than the original Levi's. They feel really nice. And so in this pair of Levi's, the 90s jeans, you can go with your true size, and it doesn't seem to require the same sort of breaking in period as the Levi 501 Original. So that is a huge difference in my mind. Another key difference between the 90s 501s and the regular 501s is because the leg is wider, I actually prefer them to be full length rather than cropped. So my normal Levi 501s, I always like cut them off and then roll them up a little bit so they're like a very cropped jean. In this case, I actually prefer the sort of like all the way down to the floor, which I know is harder to get if you're tall, but they do come in different inseam lengths. And so I do feel like this is like a little bit more of a modern vibe compared to the original Levi 501s, which, you know, I'm still gonna be wearing. All right, so next up are Levi's Baggy Dad women's jeans. And so once again, I'm wearing a size 27, just like the other jeans we tried on. And so the differences are pretty stark here. This waistband is decidedly lower than the 501s and the 501 90s, and it's not tight. So if you're someone who has a really small waist, you might complain about the gapping at the waist, but if you're someone like me who's a little softer through the middle, I actually love the gapping at the waist. This is how I prefer to wear all of my jeans. And so the fact that it's not high rise is kind of nice in this case. It's almost flirting with that low rise trend without actually being low rise because it's still pretty high. The cotton here is super soft and lightweight. It almost feels stretchy. This is like a fantastic summer jean. Like the 501 90s, the leg length is a little bit wider. And so I do prefer when it comes all the way to the floor, but that's not all. It's hard to tell in the size 27s, but the leg of this jean is almost a slight barrel leg, which means that it can look just as good if it's a tiny bit cropped. The look changes dramatically based on the size you wear. So this is my true size, and if I size up versus if I size down, you get a completely different look, and they're all good. So let's look at that next. These are size 28 in the Levi Baggy Dad women's jeans. I went with the 28 length just because they were so much lower. The 30 was now like way too long. These are now looking more like those like low-rise jeans that we wore back in the 90s, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love this because again, they're not tight here. So many of the low-rise jeans like squeeze me funny and then I sausage out over top, and like that will literally never happen if you size up like a good size or two in the baggies. But they still look great. Like I love how this looks. these feel like they would be so fun for summer, just like this with a pair of flip-flops. But if I go the other way and size down, let's take a look. All right, so here's the size 26. So this is the one size down. The waistband is back to being like a little bit high, like my belly button's right there. And you can see the barrel leg so much better. So this is at that sort of like awkward length, but I kind of like it. It's sort of like, it's like cool girl jeans for sure. They fit more like a traditional 501 would fit now, you know, at least in this area. They're less slouchy overall. Again, I would still wear these the same way, flip-flops, straw bag. Again, you can't go wrong. The problem here is like, I'm tempted to keep all of the sizes of the jeans, and that seems a little ridiculous. So I have to like figure out which vibe I want. I don't know. Let's move on. Levi's clearly likes the word baggy because these are the Levi's baggy bootcut jeans. Like the baggy dad jeans, the waistband, again, it's like true size, is a little lower and it's not tight. So once again, if you really like jeans that come in and cinch at the waist, these are not the jeans for you. But if you're like me and you want a little forgiveness in the stomach section, they're fantastic. They do remind me of the baggy dad jeans with just like a boot cut flare at the bottom, but they are a little thicker too. They're more like the fabric is more like the traditional like 501 and 501 90's. Okay, so here's the deal. Nobody knows why Levi's did not call these Ribcage jeans. Why they didn't just make them part of the Ribcage line, because like, let's just take note, my ribs are like, they end right here and here are the jeans, you know, like these are Ribcage jeans. But for some reason Levi's insists on calling them 70's high-rise flares or something like that. And they are super freaking high-rise and I really love them. Like I love them so much. For me, for date night, sometimes I don't want the baggy jean. I want something a little bit sexier. And so this is a very sexy jean. They're hugging me in a lovely supportive fashion. They're not like squeezing my waist so I get a stomachache halfway through dinner like Gold E's pinch waist jeans. So these are not pinch waist. These are just like, I'm going to hug you from the bottom up kind of jeans, and they're fantastic. Why they're not Ribcage, nobody knows. It's just the new Levi's thing, but they're freaking great. And I think these I think have a little stretch in them too. Also, if you're petite, like they make your legs look a billion miles long and you can get different inseam lengths, blah, 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 blah. I love Levi's. Thank you for coming to my Levi's TED Talk. I have done nothing to help you narrow it down. You are welcome. Thanks for watching. Links below.
The audio experience of the stomping is really good.
What have we learned? Do you want me to sign off?
Yeah, I do. We do have to close out the video.